My Dreams Chapter 6. I have talked about daydreaming, hope, life, in my previous chapters. My motto is really about one specific Bible verse, which is 1 Corinthians 16:14. Let all your things be done with charity. Let all that you do be done in love. And do everything with love. Isn't this a beautiful message? And wouldn't it be great if all people on earth would follow this and all hatred would just go away for good? I believe that this verse could be translated and applied to so many things, because everything in life have a pedestal. Whatever we build, it must stand on a foundation, a basis, so it won't collapse. Now let's go back for a moment to my story in chapter 5 about the homeless people. I have mentioned some people who had respectable jobs once, but then it went away and they end up being homeless. Well, there is many people who is coming from different walks of life and has specific stories how their life collapsed, but there is another type of homeless people who didn't have that good job to begin with. They grow up in poverty and never had the chance to go to school and get the right education. I have spoken to so many people in the shelter during dinner times, and I was at LW's when I heard how some people viewed life. Many of them actually admitted without even being ashamed that they refused to go to work, because at that time average hourly wage was about $15, and with that income it was not possible to rent a place, get food, health insurance, and so on. Let's just mention that in that time I worked 4 jobs parallel to each other, and yes, with $15 per hour you cannot pay all expenses monthly. But I choose to have 3 more jobs, work Monday to Sunday, so my other jobs would cover the other bills and everything else that needed to be taken care of, so I can leave on my own and have a place to lay my head down. I didn't have much, but always had just enough, folded hands. Now let's go back to the stories I heard. Many people I spoke to on these nights, and to my surprise what they shared was quite shocking for me. They literally said they will not go to work. They actually refuse to go to work because when they go to beg for money on an average day, they would collect about $300 to $400. From that amount they wouldn't have to pay tax, and even though they sleep on the street, this money is enough to buy food, alcohol, and drug. Oh, and once in every blue moon they check into a motel and sleep there. I couldn't believe that anyone with a conscious mind would be okay to settle for this life. Being dirty, be on the street in rain and heat and storms, or whatever the outside condition is. But they said yes, that's how they choose to do it, and they are not even trying to be in a different situation. Mentioning on a side note, this organization even took the time to help people in need to find a job and get back on their feet after end up on the street. Very few of them took the opportunity and be involved with the rehabilitation and tried to get off the street. In an average night we served anywhere between 120 to 150 people. Maybe 1 or 2 families with little children in years who accepted the help and wanted to clean up their life after losing everything. I am wondering, all the people who end up on the street are daydreaming, or the minds are so filled with drugs and alcohol where it's not even functioning any longer. Since I believe love covers a multitude of sins, mistakes we make could be corrected. If and only if we are participating and we are present in the company of help and helpers. Do all things with love is a great hope, but sadly it's not the reality. Yes, there is millions of people who has a good heart and stay clean, stay in good boundaries within, but there are millions who simply has the most twisted ego, the most evil heart, the careless soul, the narcissist personality, so they would never give a damn about anyone else. They don't even care about themselves. Daydreaming therefore is a thing that it's not only negative or positive effect, it could be a thing when it becomes a total delusional state of mind and it falls into this mutual state between negative and positive. You are kind of just hovering nowhere, you are just existing but not feeling anything anymore. We can want love and peace on earth, but that itself simply became a dream. Nowadays, with all this mess around the world, the political situations, the wars, the global warming and all that, we all become the big fat daydream. We are using all kinds of methods, mediations, massages, music for an escape. To get away from reality, and we learn to train ourselves to put our focus on the things that make us feel better, rather is real or just a temporary state of being. We must use this fantasy imaginary mind to survive life. People are clinging to love more and more because they don't have the answers how to make things better in this lost world. Parents are devastated and worry about their children's future because things are so messed up for this generation. Older people worry about their leftover years because they are just few steps away from finding themselves on the street. At least in Hungary the government is working on lowering the monthly retirement money so elderly people can't pay even the utility any longer and not able to get groceries that are basic to survive. My generation is worried about their future and struggling with bills, rent. It's all being a mess. Now the question is, daydreaming is the answer or love? Let's do all things with love so we can live in a world that pleases us. The other option is to fill ourselves with false products to numb us and just say, screw this, give up. I think like everything else in life is relative. Whatever works for me it might won't work for you. We do have the chance to pick what we want and how we want things in our life, so yes. Let's all daydream and do all things with love in the same time, because after all at the end we come out winners. Maybe it's easier to give up and fall into the mutual state where we don't even feel anything, but that doesn't even call life anymore. I saw that with my own eyes at the homeless shelter, and I would never ever want to fall into that place. I want to leave, I want to love, and I want to exist because our time is limited here, so mind as well we shall.